YouTube, it's M1NDxBEND3R here, and in my last video I showed off my Guardian mech, kind of the stock standard model, basically the GI, if you will. And you'll notice that these three mechs I have in front of me now look very, very similar to that, but also a little bit different. You see, the Guardian mech, I found out immediately after completing it, is very, very easy to modify, so I kinda did that. And I decided, because it was so easy to modify, it would be a good platform to relaunch my Tier 1 idea that I had probably about a year ago. Kind of started it, but never really finished it. For those of you who weren't around a year ago and don't know what on earth I'm talking about, let me tell you. Tier 1 was the idea where I kind of wanted a special team within my fictional Prometheus military that was like the best mech pilots the army had to offer, the best pilots in the world, basically, and they all got personalized mech suits because they were so good. So, rather than going with very, built from scratch mech suits, I decided it would make more sense in universe and out of universe that instead of building, brand new designs from the ground up, they would just modify the standard issue mech to be more personalized to these quite elite pilots. So, I got three of them here in front of you. We're going to go through each one individually, a little bit about the pilot, and about the mech that they are partnered with. So, left to right, we've got Baby Boomer, we've got Zephyr, and we've got Southpaw. We're going to take a look at Southpaw first. Alright, starting out, taking a look at Southpaw. Southpaw is a mech piloted by a German woman by the name of Colleen Weber. For those of you who noticed that the Weber last name sounds familiar, she is, in fact, probably a granddaughter of founding member of Prometheus, Sophia Weber, who I introduced in a previous video with her mech, the Painted Lady. Definitely feel free to go check that out. But anyway, this is probably, like I said, probably a granddaughter. I imagine this is far enough in the future. It's probably granddaughter. And now she's followed in her grandmother's footsteps and has a mech of her own to pilot, the mech being called Southpaw. And the reason for that is Colleen Weber is a big fan of MMA, mixed martial arts, and even though her stock standard Guardian had, cannons in the arms and weapons and things like that, she kind of preferred to fight her enemies face to face and just use the mech's bare hands. So, her Tier 1 mech suit was modified with these big fists, and that's really all I wanted. I kind of got inspired by a gorilla-looking mech I saw somewhere on Instagram, and I like the idea of a mech just having big fists just punching stuff. So that's what Southpaw does. It's also called Southpaw because guess what? Colleen Weber is left-handed, so cool. People say I don't do enough left-handed people, so here's one. Alright, who's next? Alright, next up, moving down the line, is an American pilot by the name of Kevin Queen and his mech suit, Zephyr. The name was actually suggested by Nacho Paradise, a good friend of mine. Go check out his channel, it's pretty cool. Anyway, Zephyr was designed with flight in mind. I said in the previous video that the Guardian has hasters along the back, right here and here, and those basically serve to aid in jumps, and also if this mech is dropped from the air, kind of landing thrusters, but they are not meant to get the mech out of the, up in the air for an extended period of time. So they added on these two extra, far more powerful thrusters to the shoulders, and these actually allow Zephyr to become quite agile in the air but it's still the Guardian body, so it's still very durable and heavy duty. It can just now fly very, very nicely. So Kevin Queen, originally being a fighter pilot, was quite happy with this modification, and now is just the best. Anyway, on to the next guy. And last, but certainly not least, is the Irish pilot Ryan O'Hara and his mech suit, Baby Boomer. For those of you wondering why on earth it's called Baby Boomer, well, look at it. It's covered in weapons. It's got, the standard missile launcher, this very heavy-duty particle cannon. These cannons are actually, I've had this design forever, and I've never had a good excuse to use one until now, so I was very excited for that. I imagine they're actually meant to be used in stationary firing positions. They're meant to be mounted to the ground because they're so heavy, but, try telling Ryan that. He wanted one on his mech, so he got one. In addition to that, the arms are equipped with another pair of missile launchers each instead of the standard forearm armor, and then the typical gun barrel that most Guardian mechs come with. So, yeah, I imagine Ryan was originally probably an artilleryman before he joined the mech suit program, and He just never really lost his love of things that go boom. So I'll probably do more of these in the future, so if there's a country that you didn't see that you wanted to see, don't worry, I'm not done. Do more of these probably. But for now, let's take a look at all of these mechs in their robot modes. Alright, so with the mechs transformed into their autonomous robot modes, you can see they pretty much still serve the same functional role. Zephyr still flies, Baby Boomer still shoots everything in sight, and Southpaw still punches. Really, not a lot changes here, except for the fact that they do not need pilots. I actually left the pilots out of the shot just because it was getting cluttered, and I want you guys to see how these all look individually. So, yeah, that's the mechs all by themselves. Now let's just quick take a look at the pilots. Alright, so one more time, very quickly, before I call this video done, we've got Ryan O'Hara from Ireland, Kevin Quain from America, and Colleen Weber from Germany. These are not the, I cannot stress this enough because I don't want people to feel like I'm leaving their countries out. These are not the only Tier 1 pilots I'm going to introduce. I love the idea of the Tier 1 mechs, and I'll probably keep doing them, and probably include variations of other mechs I've made, not only the Guardian. So, guys, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you really like this video, feel free to subscribe. I've been M1NDxBEND3R, and I will talk to you later.